Being around narcissists is very difficult because they're very toxic people and they have the habit of heading straight towards people's weaknesses. And then they poke at the weaknesses, they play off the person's vulnerabilities. They basically control the person by gaining leverage over them, using their own weaknesses against them. So, of course, that's all very uncomfortable when you notice somebody just seems to be making you feel awful, and sometimes you don't even realize what's happening. But what they're doing is they've already identified your weaknesses, and they're playing off those, and it makes you feel very uncomfortable. It just takes your energy away, and you just feel like your energy is very low. But on the bright side, um, having an experience being around a narcissist does show you your own weaknesses. And oftentimes we're oblivious to our weaknesses. We so often don't realize the things about ourselves that we might want to change, improve, or at least be aware there's certain things about ourselves that make us vulnerable to certain types of people. So when a narcissist comes along into your life, and very quickly you start feeling uncomfortable about certain things they say, certain situations they put you in, you very quickly start to realize, if you pay attention, what it is about the situation, what they're saying that makes you feel uncomfortable. And it shines the spotlight on your weaknesses in such a way where you have more clarity about your own self, about the areas about yourself that you might want to work on, or at least might want to change to have a better life. You have that clarity in such a way that you haven't had before. And if you think about it that way, if you think about the narcissist as a toxic moving being that comes into your life, and you can either just be upset and pout about the fact that somebody's there just to take you down and make you feel as bad as possible, or you can put certain boundaries in place to prevent the extent to which they make you feel bad. Avoid them when you can, possibly take them out of your life altogether. But in the interim period, they would have taught you certain things about yourself, which you cannot forget. Once you've been around a narcissist, and sometimes you only need somebody like that in your life, they don't have to be in your life for months or years necessarily, sometimes even hours or days, hanging around, spending time with narcissists or toxic people is enough to get a huge learning experience from that. And if you take away the things which you should take away, which are, what have you learned about yourself by having this person in your life, even if for a relatively short period of time, then all of a sudden you've just gained a lot of wisdom and a lot of clarity about yourself. And those are the first steps. That self-awareness is the first steps of making the necessary change. And from then onwards, it really is just a matter of you just acknowledging, just, you don't have to go and make any major changes anytime soon, but just kind of softly acknowledge that, okay, there were certain things that this person did or said that really made me feel bad. And I never realized that I could have an emotional fall so quickly and easily, but this person made this happen to me seemingly without any effort. Like, what's wrong with me? Yes, there's nothing wrong with you per se. These are toxic people who thrive and just feel good about themselves by taking other people down. But the self-awareness that you now have, which is that you can easily be brought down by these people, means, what can I do to change certain things about myself? You know, a lot of times it has to do with things like needing other people for validation, or just feeling insecure in yourself, things like that. Narcissists and other toxic people can sometimes spot very quickly, and they'll immediately use that against you. If you pay attention to how you feel when you're around certain people, and you kind of self-reflect, chances are you'll get huge insights into the things about yourself that you might want to change going forwards. And when you change things about yourself, it's not, the changes aren't immediate. They happen gradually over time, and that's perfectly fine. Just allow yourself to have the the new necessary boundaries that you need when you interact with the world and the people in it. And also, maybe you need to change certain perspectives and things about yourself, the way you see the world and your thoughts, because maybe your previous way of thinking or your previous way of existing was maybe not the healthiest thing for you. And maybe you should kind of softly contemplate, what can I do that will make me feel most fulfilled, happy, mentally healthy. And if you just kind of like lean in the direction of wanting those things, then you'll very quickly the answers will come to you in terms of, how you shift certain parts of your personality, the way you interact with people. It's all a gradual process, but it really is just a matter of you noticing there's certain things about yourself that you've carried up until today, up until the time that you experienced something unpleasant with the narcissist, and you realize, okay, those things don't really serve me. I might want to make some shifts and changes about myself going forwards. And then from then on, it's just having that kind of soft intent and making those changes. And then the changes will kind of, they'll filter their way through into yourself, your personality, your existence going forwards. So yeah, once you've kind of set all that into motion, you're actually becoming a much better version of yourself. And if you think about it, none of that would have been possible had somebody not came into your life and identified your weaknesses so sharply, so clearly. And that's what the narcissist does. So nothing justifies toxic or negative behaviors. But since you can't change people, what you can do is think, okay, what can I take away from this in a positive way? And it really is just self-reflecting on what you've learned about yourself, and then from then onwards, you can move into the direction of having the more fulfilled, happier, and healthy life that you want.